Hey everybody, it's me Stacy here at Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com. Hello everybody. Welcome to today's In the Studio with Stacy class, where we pair fine art and paper crafting. We put them together and magic happens. Hey everybody, hello, happy Wednesday. If you are watching this class during the premiere, which is 5 p.m. sunny California time, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, every Wednesday, well, there is a live chat going on right now. And we would love for you to say hello. Tell us who you are, tell us where you're from. Maybe if this is the first time you're ever watching an In the Studio with Stacy class, I don't know, just chime on in and we'll say hey right back to you. As a brand ambassador for Royal Talens, I am fortunate enough to get oodles of education on fine art products. And then I get to bring that education to you. And that is what makes up an In the Studio with Stacy class. Each month I select one type of fine art product, and for the entire month, every Wednesday in that month, we use that product again and again and again in different ways, showing you how versatile and amazing fine art product can be. And quite often, like with today, I'm using Ecoline. Ecoline is what they're known for over in the Netherlands, but Ecoline brush tip markers, well, on sale, they're $3.99. While they're a fine art product, they're still priced as if it was a paper crafting product. So we started with our Ecoline brush tip markers the first Wednesday in January, and we're working our way through. Next week is going to be a very special class. It might run a little bit longer than normal, so we're prepping for it, we're getting ready for it, and I hope you tune in next week. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but it is a very special class, and we will be using, again, the Ecoline watercolor brush tip markers from Royal Talens in a way that is like, wow, it just is wow. Now today I have a super fun class for you, and we're gonna go back to November of last year. I have auxiliaries for you today. Well, just modeling paste. And we're gonna play with modeling paste and stencils and our brush tip markers. And as you go through, as you take these classes with me, you will see how all the products eventually can work within each other. It's amazing how you can take Amsterdam acrylics and put those with pastels and make those work together, or your watercolor brushes or your watercolor markers and your modeling pastes or your auxiliaries. It really is about learning each individual product well enough to then incorporate other types of products with it to make it expand into something even more. I have got stencils from the Crafters Workshop for you today. I have got, well, the modeling paste. I've got, it's not here yet. We don't have, where our order got lost. We lost an entire box from Royal Talens, an entire box. So they're trying to ship it to us just as quickly as possible. But it had modeling paste, it had a liquid acrylic inks, it had pastels. An entire box got lost, but that I digress. So today I'm going to tilt down. I'm going to start with auxiliaries, and auxiliaries are a modeling paste, a gesso, a gel medium, a varnish. Anything of that type of nature is considered an auxiliary in fine art. If you are looking for how to use the auxiliaries, you're going to go back to November of last year when I started my classes with them. Auxiliaries are known as unders, mix-ins, and overs. So a gesso or a modeling paste would be an auxiliary that's considered an under, which means you don't mix any color into it at all. It's your foundation, it's your base. You can mix color into it, but because they are pigmented white, technically you'd be tinting your color. You'd be taking a beautiful true red, and the minute you mix it in with a gesso or a modeling paste, you'll make pink and not red. So your gessos and your modeling pastes are considered an under, where your gel mediums, those are transparent. And those are your mix-ins where you can add your color in and mix it and extend that color out, or make something that is a thinner ink into something full body or soft body. So today, and then there's the overs, which are varnishes, and varnishes are typically more for oil painting and things of that nature. So we don't play in the varnishes too much, but definitely in the unders and in the mix-ins, in the modeling pastes and the gessos and the gel mediums, we are there. So today I'm going to be playing with modeling paste for just a few minutes, because we have already gone ahead and prepped some of this ahead of time, since that modeling paste has to dry. But I need to show you from each step. So I'm going to tilt on down. I'm going to find my glasses. We're going to get started for today. Again, I'm Stacy. I'm the owner of Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com. We are a retail brick and mortar shop here in Canyon Country, California. We also have an online presence, and I am a brand ambassador for Royal Talens. So every week I get to share with you amazing information and tips and classes about how fine art and paper crafting can come together to make magic happen. All right, let's tilt down. Let's get started for today. So I'm going to zoom on in. I am my own camera person. Don't have an overhead or anything like that. And I've got my gel plate today. I'm working on a gel plate today just because I like it. It keeps my paper right where my paper is supposed to be. I don't have to tape anything down or do anything like that. It's kind of nice. I really kind of like it. And today I'm going to be working with 110-pound Stacy Park cardstock. So this is my cardstock. You can use pretty much any cardstock you want to use. Heavier is going to be a little bit better. It's going to take the weight of the modeling paste better. Can you use watercolor paper? You can, but I think it's a waste of good watercolor paper. Can you use mixed media paper? Absolutely, without question. But today I thought I would just use 110-pound white cardstock. And as you can see, I've put it on my gel plate and it doesn't move once it's down. So I've got my paper there, and I'm just going to grab a stencil. So this is one of my stencils from the Crafter's Workshop. It's a cute little butterfly. I'm going to take it and I'm going to use some modeling paste with it. So modeling paste is an Amsterdam product. It is a fine art product. This is modeling paste that is superior to what we find in the paper crafting industry. There's no question about it. Anybody who has played with this modeling paste knows how creamy, how smooth it is. It is just beautiful, and it is a completely different type of modeling paste than what we find here in our paper crafting world. I love it. It's beautiful, and a little goes a long way. So I'm going to get some on my palette knife. And come right into my stencil. Smooth is it. Smooth doesn't even describe it. It's beyond that. And again, it's an under. So I'm not going to mix my color into it. If I mix my color into it, I'm going to tint my color to a lighter shade, because this is pigmented white, as is all modeling pastes. Now, an auxiliary is also an adhesive. So if I needed to use a glue and this was the only thing I had, well, absolutely, this will hold two 2x4s together. It's so strong. That means that you are definitely going to want to wipe off your tools and clean your stencil. Although if you leave it sit on the stencil, it's okay, because you can soak your stencil and it will come off. Pull up my paper. Ooh, and there's my image. And it's fast, it's easy, it adds texture, it dries matte. And now I need to let it dry. clean off my gel plate, and this is by Jelly Arts. And you saw I didn't even tape my stencil down. I just went for it. A gel plate, while is amazing for what it does as a gel plate and mono printing, it is also a very nice tool to have for your everyday crafting. All right, I thought I might do one in black too, just so we can see. On black paper. Now, while a gel medium comes in matte and in gloss and is transparent, a modeling paste dries completely matte. Give a nice little press. Bring over some of my modeling paste. Now, I'm not going to mix my color into my modeling paste. You can, but that's not really what it's meant for. It's meant to be your base. It's meant to be your start-off point. In the paper crafting world, we've been using modeling paste and mixing color into it for years, not knowing that what we should have been using is a gel medium. Okay. Oh, I got a little under, but that's okay. Oh, no, that's my edge. That's why it's that way. I mean, right? Hello? A little bit of fabulous right there. I'm going to put that over there, and I think I'm going to put this one over there. And we're going to let them sit. And wipe down. So my friend Jamie over at the Crafters Workshop is the one who does all the stencils that we're using today. And we'll have those on sale for you. And have baby wipe will travel. I like this one too. I'm going to do the stencil too. I think I'll do it in the black. I love this one. Kind of off center it maybe a little bit. Now, how long does it take for your modeling paste to dry? Really depends upon climate, how much you use, what material you're putting it on. Most of these will be dry enough to work on in about 20-30 minutes. But oh, Stacy, okay. But to completely dry, probably overnight. Well, no, it won't take overnight. I don't put it on so thick. Now, for Royal Talens, this is the smallest tub of modeling paste that they do. When I saw these tubs, yeah, I got a little bit out of the way, but that's okay. When I saw these tubs, I thought, holy smokes, that's a huge tub of modeling paste. All the auxiliaries come in this size tub, whether it's the gel mediums, the gessos, the modeling paste. And I talked to Jeff, my mentor, when he showed me this, and I said, oh my gosh, Jeff, that's an awful lot of modeling paste. And he laughed at me because he buys it, he uses it in because he's an artist. He uses it in like 5-gallon drums. It's like, holy smokes, artichokes. I love this one. I think that's so cool. All right, so we've got a few of them over there drying. And like I said, we prepped several just so I had them dry so we could work with them. Because really what this class is about is our Ecoline watercolor brush markers and how easy they are to use. I used them in the Saturday with Stacy YouTube class with Lisa Horton and her 3D embossing folders, and they came out beautiful. I scribbled and misted. Came out beautiful. If you haven't seen that, go see the Saturday with Stacy class for this week. Beautiful from Lisa Horton and Royal Talens, mixing the two together. So I thought we would do something similar, only using modeling paste, just to show how easy it is to play. So I've got my piece of paper and I've got my butterflies already on there, and they're completely dry. So I can put it right down on my gel plate and my paper doesn't move. I've cleaned my palette knives. And my stencils will get cleaned. And we'll soak those just for a little bit. And now I have a perfect surface to work on. As opposed to mixing my color into my modeling paste and tinting it down, I laid my modeling paste down first. And now I can go in. When you are using your Ecoline brush tip markers, they are very, very forgiving. I'm going to pull this up. See, and it doesn't, see, look at that. Look at how flexible. It doesn't crack. It is an Amsterdam product, and it is, you can roll it. Look at that. A lot of people ask, does it crack? Nope. Amazing, isn't that? It doesn't flake off. That's what makes it fine art. Absolutely. So the Ecoline brush tip, you can use it just like a marker. But where the magic happens is when you add your water and you play with them. And you mist. And all of a sudden, it turns into this fabulous paint with just a little bit of misting of water. So you can use them as a marker and just color with them. But where true magic happens is when you start to blend them and move them and make them something more than what they started with. And because they are a watercolor, you can do a wet to wet. You don't have to wait until everything is dry. You can go in there and build your color, add your color, even if your paper is wet, without any question. You just go in, and the more water you add, the more you kind of blend those colors and desaturate. And it really is something amazing. Don't be afraid of the water. And this is on 110 pound paper. So we are not going to be afraid of the water here. I'm going to take and I'm going to scribble. I'm just going to add a bunch of different color. And then I'm going to start to add my water. So it kind of looks like a hot mess, but then you start to add your water. Light mist, just to give it a moment to react and say, oh, I'm waking up. I'm waking up. And then you can go in and you can saturate. And you can move it around, you can blend, you can see I didn't have a purple, but I've made purple. And if I want to go back in to add more color, I don't have to wait until my paper is dry. I can go in and add color anywhere I feel I need more, right on top of the modeling paste. I just add more water and I move it around. So unlike a spray where you lose control on where you put your color, or sometimes if you're using the liquid watercolors by Ecoline, you can drop your colors and you kind of lose control over that. When you're working with the marker, you're able to come back in and be very specific about where you want to add color back in. And just a little bit of water makes all the difference. It softens, it blends. And now I let it sit. And I let it dry. So let's let it sit for a few minutes. And while that one's sitting, let's bring in the same in black. Exact same stencil done in black. And that way we are able to compare the white versus black. And I'll go in and I'll use the same colors. Let's clean that one off so I don't have the purple. Right over the top. I have no idea why I always go on a diagonal. No clue why I do that, but I do. So lots of scribbles. And then my water. A mist, just giving it a moment to say, oh, look at, okay, she's gonna add water. Everybody wake up, let's all get in the pool together. And then you go in. And you add. And then you can move them. The water is your friend. If you're using paper that has some sort of sizing to it, and your modeling paste right on top, now because the markers are a dye-based ink, the dye-based ink absorbs right into the black paper. So you can't tell where I colored in on the black paper because it's being absorbed. The ink is being absorbed right into that black paper, and you won't see any of my colors. Black is the accumulation of all the colors in the spectrum coming together, being blended together to make a black. So all the colors, even if you write directly on, it just absorbs right into the black and you don't see it anymore. Look at how pretty. So you have your options. Do we like it in white? Let's just trim this out. Again, pulling those stencils out, and by adding that modeling paste, I'm adding dimension to it. As opposed to just stenciling, by adding the modeling paste, I am adding dimension to my finished project. The white. The black. So will every marker do this? No, not every marker will do this. Will every watercolor marker do this? No, not every watercolor or water reactive marker will do this. These are Ecoline. They're from Royal Talens. Royal Talens has been around since 1899, and in the 1930s is when they developed the Ecoline brand of product. But it started with jars. Look at how lovely and soft, and I mean just the most beautiful background for something. And here you've got bold. So what if we did it? Let's do again. Let's change things up. Let's do it on, I've got leaves. So my gel plate acting as my hold to so I don't have to tape anything down. I'm using the side of my marker. Couple different greens. Maybe a little bit of blue. And then I hit it with the water. A couple little mists. Maybe I want even a darker yellow in there. So I know it's wet, but I'm going back over the top of it. I can be more specific on where I place my color because of it. And I hit it. And I let those colors commingle together. And if I see I want to add more color, I can be very specific. Unlike if I'm dropping it with my pipette on my liquid watercolors. There you're being really random on where you're going. But here I can be very specific because I'm using a marker. And then I let it sit. And do its thing. So we'll move this off to the side and let that water react. And while we're waiting on that one, we'll bring in the same in black. And we'll keep to the same colors. I used a little darker yellow. Use a little lighter yellow. Come in with my green. And I'm just layering the color right on top. I'm just scribbling, scribbling, scribbling. We're going to let the marker and the water do all the work for us. Let the marker and the water. I could almost just scribble, scribble, scribble and be done. That looks pretty good just on its own. But we'll add, let it sit for a second, and then come back in. And really bring it to life. You have jillions of stencils. I know you do. Look at how easy they are to use with modeling paste. And modeling paste might have been outside your comfort zone, but it shouldn't be. So here I have my two. Maybe I want to bold my one up here. I can come back in and add more color. I don't have to be afraid. I can be specific where I put it. And I can hit it with water again. Because my modeling paste is that foundational item that is allowing my my brush markers to do their thing. And I can intensify my colors. I can intensify my colors. And look at that. And then sit it and let it dry. I like that color. This might be a little wet to get my color down good. I like this color on it. And then a little bit of water and let them soften. Oh my gosh, that one's coming out so pretty. Oh my gosh. You can do these. I think I'm going to go back and add a little bit more to that one. You can do them, let them sit, come back, add some more. And because you're using a marker, you get to choose where you add. Look at that. It just starts all over again. And it just blends all over again. And the colors move all over again. Now for me, the hard part is knowing when to stop. And whether you're doing this with your marker, where you can be a little bit more specific about where you're putting your color, or you're dropping it with your Ecoline liquid watercolor, dropping it is great too. But sometimes you feel like you want to put the exact color where exactly you want it. I wanted that teal right there. And if I were using my liquid watercolor, my Ecoline liquid jars of watercolor, I would not be able to achieve that. I needed to have a marker to make it happen. And at $3.99 a marker, they're well worth it while they're on sale. The Ecoline jars will refill your markers. So these are not a one-time use. So pretty. So I have those two. I have this last one that I wanted to play with. I think I'm gonna do that. And that. So we now have all Ecoline markers open stock. And there's 2 I Want It Alls, one for 14 colors and one for 3 colors. Those make up the 17 colors that aren't available in any of the sets. I am super good at scribbling. And then letting the product do the work for us. And that's what makes it fine art, is the standard of quality of the product. Get it nice and wet. And then where I see, like here, I can see that straight line. You see that line right there? I don't want that. Boom, gone. Move and roll and into each other. And ultimately making magic happen with stencils that you may already have in your crafty stash. Get them out. Let's get some modeling paste. Let's make 10 or 12 of them because it doesn't take long to stencil with modeling paste. Let them sit. Let them sit overnight and then come back. Or have them ready to go. Do a whole bunch of them, let them dry, and then have them ready to go. They're easy. They're effective. Still a little wet. Almost to the point where I can start using it. It's getting there. Not quite yet. So you gotta let them dry before you start adding to it. Aren't they beautiful and so easy? But it all comes down to what inks are you using? What's the quality? Will they let you scribble and then spray and move them? And then will they let you come back and put them again on top of and still spray and move? Or will they leave scratch lines? We don't want scratch lines. That's a no, no, no. Love this and love the ease of use. And I think that's one of the big things that Ecoline, there's 60 colors that Ecoline is proud of, is the ease of use. You don't struggle to make beautiful things happen. They are, being that they're dye-based, they are not light fast, which means that they are not necessarily archival, 10 years at best, and that is at best, and that's true for all dye-based inks. But they are a fine art quality liquid watercolor with a beautiful brush tip. And wow. So next week, well, I don't know where to put these. I've got a bunch of them. Next week, we are dipping our toe into cyanotype printing. And we'll be using our brush pins again. It is the last week for Ecoline brush pins, and then the sale is off. They're no longer $3.99. The sale will be gone. modeling paste, we lost our box, so they have reshipped and should be here in the next, I think, 3 to 4 days. So we're going to put it available and put it on sale. Just know that it has to arrive before we can ship it. We had a huge order and just an enormous box went missing. FedEx, no, UPS. Somebody has it somewhere. FedEx or UPS. It's somewhere, and someday it'll be delivered maybe, but until then, you're going to have to hold for your modeling paste. And then, of course, we have all the Ecolines on sale. And the stencils from the Crafters Workshop. So, easy peasy today. Gearing up for what will probably be a longer than normal class next week. It'll probably be longer than an hour. I'm pretty sure it'll be longer than an hour. There are steps that have to be taken. There's processes. There's extreme aha moments. And that's before we even get to the Ecoline markers. It really will be a magical class. So next week, maybe a little bit longer. We are going to have to pre-prep some of the stuff ahead of time because it needs to be done ahead of time so it has time to dry. But then I'll do everything in front of you like I did here, just like I went ahead and I used the stencils, just like we did here. I'll do it there, but then I have ready to go. Otherwise, we'll be waiting a lot longer than an hour, hour and a half for the class. So this week, beautiful, easy, accessible. And if you like what we did here, go see what we did on 3D embossing folders from Lisa Horton. Go to see that. That's in our Saturday with Stacy class for this week. Class number 640, I think. And we use these markers, and again, stunning. Scribble, 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 spritz, spritz, spritz. So until Thursday, the next time I see you is Thursday for our New For You event. And I have simple and basic and paper favorites for you. So tomorrow, 5 p.m. Sunny California time, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Scrapbooking Made Simple YouTube channel, New For You, where we bring you the latest, the greatest from your favorite manufacturers, all value priced from the get-go. So we'll be live chatting during that. I will look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Thanks for hanging. And again, this is week 4 of Ecoline brush tip markers. And if you want to see January 2025, all the classes there as well, you have a very well-rounded education on how to use these amazing markers. All right, you guys, it's me, Stacy, Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com. I'll see you later. Bye, everybody.